What's going on YouTube? Today we'll be doing an Operation Security TryHackMe walkthrough tutorial video. Today we will cover the training module to essentially get you prepared for operational security. So let's go ahead and get started. Smartphone or laptop or almost any type of computer, you interact directly and indirectly with the operation system. The operating system includes Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, iOS, Android, Chrome OS, and Linux. But what is an operating system? To define an operating system, we need to visit one computer term, hardware. Computer hardware refers to all computer parts and peripherals that you can touch with your hands. Hardware includes the screen, keyboard, printer, USB flash memory, and the desktop board. As shown in the figure, as shown in the figure below, the desktop board contains many components, in particular a central processing unit known as a CPU and memory cards, which is also known as RAM. Although not shown in the image below, the desktop board is usually connected to a storage device like an HDD or a SSD, which is like a state device. The desktop board in many computers and other parts of the hardware from the computer and mouse and the printer is how you connect to it. However, hardware components by themselves are useless if you want to run your favorite program and application. We need an operation system to control and drive them. However, hardware components by themselves are useless. If you want to run your favorite programs and application, we need an operation system to control and drive them. Hardware, software. Software can be broken down into three categories. Here, as you see, we have programs, operating systems, and hardware. Some of the programs that you may know of is Firefox, Chrome, Microsoft Office suites, WhatsApp, and Telegram. Operating systems consist of Microsoft Windows, Android, Mac OS, iOS, Linux, etc. Hardware can consist of CPU, memory, storage, screen, keyboard, etc. Let's go here. The list can get very long depending on what type of user. And considering the nature of saved data, you want to ensure that your data is secure. When we talk about security, we should think of protecting three things: confidentiality, which is you want to ensure that the secret and private files and information are only available to intended people. Integrity, it is critical that no one can tamper with the files stored on your system or while being transferred onto the network. And then availability, you want your laptop or smartphone to be available to use whenever you decide to use it. In the next test, we will discuss common attacks used against these security pillars, the CIA triad. Which of the following is not an operating system? We got AIX, Android, Chrome OS, Solaris, Thunderbird. Were these mentioned before? Let's see. I see right here, talk about operating systems. Let's read that. Some operating systems are designed to run on laptops and personal desktops such as Microsoft Windows 11 and Mac OS. Other operating systems are designed for smartphones such as Android and iOS. There are also operating systems intended for servers. Examples include Microsoft Windows Servers 2012, IBM AIX, and Oracle Solaris. Finally, there are operating systems that you can use on personal computers and servers, for example, Linux. Image below show different operating systems used to browse the internet according to the stat counter based on data collected during January 2022. Go back, which is not operating system. It's talk about AIX, talk about Android, talk about Chrome, talk about Solaris. You don't hear Thunderbird. Thunderbird. Perfect, we got that correct. And we got Street going. Perfect. First module completed. Let's go. As we mentioned in previous tasks, security is a concern with attacks against the triad CIA triad. In this room, we will focus on the three weaknesses targeted by malicious users: authentication, weak passwords, weak file permissions, malicious programs. Authentication and weak passwords. Authentication is the act of verifying your identity, be at a local or remote system. Authentication can be archived. Authentication can be achieved via three main ways: something you know, such as a password or PIN code; something you are, such as a fingerprint, which is like biometric, or it can be retina scans; something you have, such as a phone number, via where you can be reached as a MS message; or this can be a multi-factor like authenticating application where essentially you use your Face ID or use some type of login metric or credentials to authenticate yourself to log into the authenticator application that's on your smart device, and then from there you have a multi-factor authenticator for the portal that you're trying to log into, so you have multiple layers of authentication. um I gotta skip that shit. Since passwords are a most common form of authentication, There are also the most attacked. Many users tend to use an easy to guess password or the same password on many websites. Moreover, some users rely on personal details such as date of birth, name of their pets, thinking this is an easy way to remember and unknown to hackers. However, attackers are aware of these tendencies among users, which is true. I Most of the time I tend to realize a lot of times I tend to realize a lot of individual passwords would consist of their births, like I say here, their pet names, their first or last name with initials, even with the day of birth, the year that they was born, parents' name, children name, just anything that's just like a common correlation for them to just remember. Rank password number one. Number one password in the world is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Interesting. Number two is 1 through 9. Three, query. Four, password. All of these are super simple. The 19th most used password is monkey. Number 20 is dragon. That's intriguing. We can see that 1 2 3 4, 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5, etc. The list go on. Dictionary words such as passwords, I love you, monkey, and dragon are commonly used. Words not in the dictionary include these. These seemingly complex passwords are very predictable as they follow the keyboard layout. Ah, okay. I did notice that before. Like QAZWSX 1 2 3 4 5. Yep. Oh, that's funny. That's 1Q2W3. That's funny. In belief, if the attacker can guess the password of any of your online accounts, such as an email or social media account, they can gain access to your private data. Therefore, it is vital that you choose a complex password and use passwords with different accounts. Weak file permissions. Proper security dictates the principle of the least privilege. In the work environment, you want any file access only by those who need access to get work done. On a personal level, if you're planning a trip with family or friends, you might want to share all of the files related to your trip with those going on the trip. You might want to share all those files related to the trip plan with those going on the trip. You don't want to share such files publicly. That's the principle of least privilege, or in simpler terms, who can access what? Weak file permissions. Weak file permissions make it easy for the adversary to attack confidentiality and integrity. They can attack confidentiality, confidentiality as weak permissions allow them to access files they should not be able to access. Moreover, they can attack integrity as they might modify files they should not be able to edit. The last example we will consider in the case of malicious programs, depending on the type of programs, the type of malicious program, it can attack confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Trojan horse. That's kind of funny. Types of malicious programs such as Trojan horses give the attacker access to your systems. Consequently, the attacker will be able to read your files or even modify them, which is bad. Some type of malicious programs attack availability. Once One such example is ransomware, and that is popular. Ransomware is a malicious program that encrypts the user files. Encryption makes the files unreadable without knowing the encryption password. In other words, the file becomes gibberish without the encryption, so you'll have to do a reversion of the encryption. The attacker offers the user the ability to restore availability, an example, regain access to their original files. They would give the encryption password if the user is willing to pay the ransom, which you've seen happen multiple times. Which of the following is a strong password in your opinion? None of these. Let me see what the hints say. Refer to the list of the top 20 of the strong passwords. These are the most common. But if I had to pick one, let me see. None. Maybe this one because it's not on the list. I don't think this was on the list. Yeah, this one on the list. Is it this one? Yeah, because it's on the list. That would make sense. Okay. Let me see. Okay.